A simple house cat pulls off an incredible feat, saving all the pups from the neighbor's vicious dog. But when the owners learn the real reason behind its bravery, they are left speechless. Lily was not just an ordinary cat. Her caramel-colored fur and sparkling emerald eyes made her impossible to overlook. Yet it wasn't only her appearance that made her special. Lily possessed a maternal instinct that went far beyond typical feline behavior. The Anderson household, comprising Sarah, Mike, and their child Grace, offered Lily a home when she was but a kitten. They discovered her shivering with cold and fright, nestling in a cardboard box near a grocery store. Grace, a little girl of merely 8 years of age, then was immediately smitten with the small kitten and pleaded with her parents to adopt her. The initial weeks in her new residence were tough for Lily. She sought refuge under the bed, only venturing out after dark for sustenance. Grace demonstrated tremendous patience, spending countless hours on the floor adjacent to the bed, gently coaxing the kitten. Ultimately, Lily began to trust her newfound family. As Lily aged, her personality continued to blossom, proving to be an impressively intelligent, inquisitive cat. Lily soon mastered the art of unlatching doors, toggling light switches, and even delivering Grace's school backpack during the mornings. Over time, Lily exhibited remarkable compassion towards other creatures. When Grace once arrived home with a wounded bird, Lily instantly assumed the role of its caregiver. She spent innumerable hours by the box that housed the bird, vigilantly guarding it and even attempting to nourish it. Owing to Lily's nurturing, the bird recuperated and managed to regain flight one day during a raging storm. A nest of baby squirrels tumbled into the Andersons' yard, unfazed by the pouring rain. Lily dashed into the downpour and carefully carried each squirrel to the shelter of the porch. She kept them warm and safe through the stormy night, until the rain finally stopped. Allowing their mother to return, Lily established herself as a true gem of the locality. Residents frequently dropped by the Andersons' home to appreciate the exceptional cat kids loved interacting with her, and the feeling appeared reciprocal. One day, Sarah observed Lily exhibiting peculiar behavior. The cat frequently perched by the window, staring forlornly into the horizon. Her appetite dwindled, and she seemed sullen concerned. The Andersons decided to consult a vet. The vet unlocked the mystery. Lily was with kittens. This revelation invoked a tidal wave of emotions in the family. Grace was enthusiastic about the idea of little kittens, Sarah fretted over Lily's well-being, whereas Mike was already deciding how they would cater to their new companions. The following week was filled with preparations for the arrival of the kittens. Grace created a cozy nest, using old bedding and cushions. Mike gathered special nutrients for pregnant cats, while Sarah diligently monitored Lily's well-being. Then the birthing day arrived, nestled in a corner of the shed. Lily released the humans of their assistance. The family keenly awaited word, catching intermittent mellow purrs from the shed. After a few hours, Lily shambled out, appearing fatigued, yet graceful. But to the Andersons' astonishment, she had no kittens trailing her. Mike gingerly peeked into the snug Lily had fashioned for herself, and his spirits plummeted at the sight. 3 tiny kittens lay lifeless. They were stillborn. The veterinarian, who was summoned at once, explained that this occurrence is not unheard of, particularly in juvenile cats. Lily was inconsolable. She would not abandon her nest, perpetually licking and attempting to warm her kittens. The Andersons were unsure of how to alleviate their cherished pet's sorrow. They attempted distraction with toys and delicacies, but Lily was apathetic to their efforts. A week passed, and Lily finally emerged from her hiding spot, but she no longer had the energy the Anderson remembered. She became quiet and withdrawn. For hours, she would sit by the window, staring blankly into the distance. Grace attempted to engage her in play, but to no avail. Sarah and Mike were increasingly distressed about Lily's well-being. They sought counsel from the vet, endeavoring to find methods to help the cat surmount her somber mood. Grace even began vocalizing to Lily in hopes that her voice might pacify the troubled feline. Then, on a sweltering summer day, everything altered. While playing in the yard, Grace caught an odd sound from beyond the fence. Moving closer, she spotted Lily carrying a puppy in her mouth a minuscule, whimpering black puppy. Grace was taken aback, calling her folks. All the Andersons soon looked on in shock as Lily delicately settled the puppy on the turf, nuzzling it as if it were her kitten. The Andersons were at a loss as to the origins of the puppy and the best course of action. Mike suggested bringing it home, contacting the authorities, or taking it to an animal care center. But Sarah was reluctant, observing the affectionate way Lily was caring for the puppy. She was unwilling to separate the two, while the grown folks debated. Grace fetched an aged basket and a gentle comforter from their dwelling. She delicately positioned the pup within the basket, and immediately Lily hopped in, cozily settling down next to the tiny creature. At the sight of this tender act, Sarah and Mike were moved and opted to have the pup stay. Momentarily, the following days were filled with activity and anticipation. The Andersons put up flyers around the neighborhood about the newly found puppy, but no one responded. Meanwhile, Lily's devoted care for the little one was remarkable. She stayed by his side, gently licking him and keeping him warm with her body. Grace was taken abe to observe that Lily had begun nursing the puppy despite their interspecies variance. Lily's milk surprisingly suited the puppy. The family vet consulted by the Andersons was astounded by this uncommon occurrence and remarked that such instances, although very infrequent, were indeed plausible. Lily fed the little one every 2 hours, even waking up in the weak hours of the night, demonstrating genuine maternal devotion. On the third morning, following their first pup surprise, Lily vanished once again. The Andersons didn't give it a second thought, presuming the cat had taken a leisurely wander. However, upon her return, she held yet another pup in her mouth. This newcomer was marginally larger compared to the first. Flaunting the same dark fur, Lily led him right to the basket containing the first pup and commenced their care with parallel gentleness. Now the Andersons were completely puzzled. Where was Lily finding these puppies, and why was she bringing them home? Mike began to suspect that a nearby dog had recently given birth and for some unknown reason wasn't caring for her pups. Sarah thought about asking the neighbors if any dogs had recently had puppies, but before they could investigate, Lily delivered a third puppy, then a fourth and a fifth. Sorry for the interruption. Before we continue with the story, I kindly ask you to like the video and subscribe to this channel. It is very important for us. Thank you very much. By week's end, their dwelling was now a sanctuary to 5 tiny, dark fur puppies, all under Lily's vigilant supervision. Lily showcased an exceptional resourcefulness in the care of her unusual brood, but despite her unceasing efforts to feed all 5 pups, her milk couldn't adequately nourish them. Recognizing this reality, Grace started feeding the pups a nutritious blend from a bottle. It was as if Lily comprehended the need for supplemental feeding and patiently lingered for Grace to nourish each pup. Afterward, she delicately licked their faces as if finalizing the process. Word of Lily's foster parenting quickly reached every corner of the neighborhood. Neighbors began to notice this marvel of nature. Some praised Lily, naming her a champion, while others displayed apprehension and suspicion. Mrs. Parker, a senior woman who lived opposite, professed she had seen Lily skulking about late in the evening. With a dubious expression, she started spreading conjectures that the cat was swiping puppies from disenfranchised canines. In contrast, Mr. Rodriguez, the proprietor of the local bakery, was captivated by Lily. He would bring fresh bread for the Andersons and the puppies every day, believing that such a remarkable family deserved a unique delicacy. Kids from adjacent residences continually requested to visit to see the unconventional family. Grace boasted to them about how excellently Lily looked after the puppies, narrating each baby's story as if they were her brothers or sisters. Still not all was going well. Caring for 5 puppies and a cat quickly became overwhelming for the Andersons. The cost of food and vet bills kept increasing, and their home was constantly in chaos. Mike and Sarah started to disagree on what to do next. Strains grew, not just in the Anderson household, but also in the entire neighborhood. Some neighbors began to discussing the need for animal control services. They feared Lily could pose a threat if she were genuinely swiping puppies from other dogs. Mike began to feel they were under constant observation from their back property. He could see neighbors gossiping and pointing at their windows. He even noticed a man with a camera snapping photos of their home from his car. Once Sarah was nearing mental exhaustion, she adored Lily and the puppies, but the ink, scrutiny, and criticism from the neighbors began to take a toll. She developed an apprehension of exiting the home. Feeling the disapproving stares, witnessing her parents torment, Grace resolved to intervene. She embarked on her investigation, aiming to establish where Lily was sourcing the puppies. The girl spent hours by the window observing the cat, hoping to trail her on the next excursion. Meanwhile, Lily seemed completely unaware of the chaos around her. She continued to care for the puppies, with love playing with them and displaying her feline instincts. It was astonishing to see the puppies trying to imitate cat movements as Lily demonstrated grooming with her paw. One evening, when the strain had risen to its maximum, the Andersons' door was knocked on. A law enforcement officer was standing at the threshold of the house, joined by a few worried neighbors. He declared that he wanted to discuss Lily and the puppies. The Andersons welcomed the officer into their residence, their hearts thumping in fear and apprehension, uncertain of how this unwelcome visit would conclude. However, they resolved to defend Lily and her extraordinary household. Till the end, the officer made his way into the living room, where Lily was resting in a spacious basket, enclosed 5 puppies. Upon viewing this, even the usually severe law enforcement officer was unable to contain his astonishment. He scrutinized Lily and the puppies, thoroughly inquiring about their origins from the Andersons. The family recounted everything they knew, including Lily's one-by-one rescue mission. At that moment, Grace, who had remained silent until then, stepped forward. She shared her observations of Lily and how the cat frequently wandered toward the abandoned house on the edge of town. Intrigued, the officer decided to investigate the lead, accompanied by Mike. They left for the old house, leaving Sarah and Grace behind to care for Lily and the puppies upon their return. An hour later, their faces were etched with grave expressions. They had discovered an ailing stray mother dog in the forsaken house who had recently given birth. She was too weak and ill to tend to her young ones. Thus everything started to make sense. Lily, driven by her maternal instinct, was not abducting the puppies, but rescuing them from looming mortal danger. She had been homing them one at a time, understanding it was impractical to move them all simultaneously. Word of the cat's heroic act of saving the orphaned puppies quickly swept through the town, melting everyone. Hearts, the locals' perspective toward the Andersons and Lily underwent a dramatic paradigm shift, and everyone sought ways to lend a helping hand. The kind-hearted local vet offered to treat the mother dog for free, while Lily continued to nurture the puppies. The Andersons watched in amazement as their beloved cat lovingly cared for her foster pups. Lily's remarkable story spread online, capturing widespread attention. Internet users praised her compassion and selflessness as the mother dog recovered and got ready to reunite with her young ones. Everyone waited to see Lily's reaction, but the feline exhibited remarkable wisdom by permitting the biological mother to bond with her puppies, while Lily assumed the role of a loving guardian, staying close to them for most of the time. This narrative not only transformed the existence of Lily and the little pups, but also impacted the entire community. People started treating each other with more kindness and provided help to their neighbors more frequently. The local animal shelter recorded an unprecedented number of cats finding new homes. Lily became a symbol of how caring instincts and affection can arise in the most unexpected situations. Did you enjoy this story? Would you have also let Lily keep the puppy? Would you defended her against the neighbor's accusations? Let us know in the comments below if you liked the story. Subscribe to this channel and leave a like. In the most challenging times, kindness and love can work true.